Concern in one central Kentucky community after 3 hotel robberies in the past several weeks. New details about a motorcycle crash that shut down part of New Circle Road this morning. And some good news for some American workers on Labor Day. Some 300,000 of them could become eligible for paid sick leave starting in 2 years.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Amber Philpott. Sam has the afternoon off. 3 hotel robberies in 2 weeks. That's what Danville police are investigating. Police say the suspect just walks into the hotel lobby and holds up the desk clerk. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on why police think the same person is behind all the crimes. It's our top story at 4:30.
Danville's Hampton Inn here, just the latest in what has become a string of hotel robberies. The first happened on August the 25th, the Super 8, which is just on the other side of this hotel. Then a couple of days later, there was a hotel robbery at the Comfort Suites, and then the one here just this past Saturday. Each of the robberies is about 5 days apart, and the subject's description is nearly the same in each one. A man in a dark or a black hoodie wearing a blue bandana over his face. He either tells the desk clerk that he has a weapon or he shows one. No one has been hurt in any of the robberies, but police say that's always a possibility.
I mean, it's always a possibility that someone with a firearm is going to use that firearm even if they are get everything they want. You never know.
In not all the cases has the thief gotten away with money, and we'll tell you more about that coming up in our next newscast. But for now, in Boyle County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say that robber has hit nearly half of Danville's hotels. Police are now working with employees at all of the hotels on how to stay safe while working the front desk. Attorneys for jailed County Clerk Kim Davis are hoping new legal action will get her out of jail. Davis has been behind bars since Thursday when a judge held her in contempt for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. But now Davis is formally appealing the judge's decision. Attorneys for Davis have released a statement that reads, quote, "While most Americans are enjoying the extended holiday weekend with family and friends, Kim Davis sits in isolation for the 4th day in jail. We are working through the holiday to secure Kim's freedom," end quote. The judge's decision to send Davis to jail continues to draw mixed reaction from GOP presidential candidates.
I think what we've seen here is the overreach of the judiciary. This, if allowed to stand without any congressional approval, without any kind of enabling legislation, is what Jefferson warned us about.
She's not running a church. I wouldn't force this on a church, but in terms of her responsibility, I think she has to comply.
Mike Huckabee says he plans to travel to Kentucky to meet with Davis tomorrow. Because of the expected traffic in that area of Carter County, the schools have been canceled on the east side of the county, and again, that is for tomorrow. Police are looking for 2 men who fired shots into a Lexington bar. Police say the manager at La Cueva Bar and Grill on Alexandria Drive had just kicked out 2 people when 2 men returned and opened fire. No one was hurt, but the bar was damaged. Police are looking for 2 Latino men last seen driving a white Jeep Grand Cherokee. A Lexington woman is recovering after being shot overnight by her husband. Police say the man was drunk and waving a gun around when he accidentally shot his wife in the knee at their home on Little Pigeon Court near Buckhorn Drive. The couple's 10-year-old son was home at the time. Police say the man drove away but was later arrested. His name has not been released, but police say he is facing at least an assault charge. A motorcycle rider had to be rushed to UK hospital after crashing into a truck. It happened about 5:15 at New Circle and Trade Center Drive. Police say the motorcycle crashed into the back of the truck as the truck turned onto New Circle. We're told the motorcycle was stolen. The person driving it is expected to recover. Oh boy, it is another hot day here in the Bluegrass as September is off and running with one of the hottest first weeks of the month on record. And if you are sick and tired of the heat, well, hang on. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey about the coming changes. I am hanging on to see what you're going to tell me, okay?
Yeah, you're going to be liking the forecast later this week into the weekend. It does get a lot better. We need some rain. We've got that coming, and it's going to really cool down. Not a moment too soon. Another day on this Labor Day, nonetheless, with upper 80s to around 90 degrees. We couldn't get summertime at all in June, July, or August. Now, the first week of September, Summer, we're just packing it all into 1 week. Defender has been picking up on a little isolated shower thunderstorm here or there, parts of southern Kentucky, Somerset, London, into parts of Knox County, right on top of Manchester. Some teeny tiny raindrops that are out there, though. Cooling temperatures down on a local scale. That includes parts of Mount Vernon into the Lexington metro as of now. We look at our live sky cams. Not a whole lot going on. Live sky cam in Lexington over top of Hamburg Pavilion. And you can see the haze in the distance, that mix of sun and some clouds showing up. Weather headlines: fall getting ready to punch its way back into the bluegrass state. Maybe a right cross coming our way later this week. That means storms increase, temperatures decrease. Amber, we'll track it all when I come back with a changing 7-day forecast here in a few minutes.
All right, we will see you then, Chris. Thank you. Suboxone is a treatment drug to help people with an opiate addiction. This summer, our investigative team found concerns from law enforcement that Suboxone is being abused, and some clinics, police say, are becoming more like pill mills. But after our story aired, treatment doctors wanted to talk about the benefits of the drug, and they say it saved a lot of lives.
I'm confused about all of the negative press with Suboxone, and many other of my colleagues are confused as well. It just seems like we're targeting this disease, we're targeting this medication.
Well, tonight at 6, officials at a Lexington clinic explain why the treatment drug is targeted and why it shouldn't be. The American President Obama marked this Labor Day by signing an executive order that will provide a new benefit to thousands of American workers. Andy Rose has the details on this major Labor Day announcement.
And I believe that working Americans should have the basic security of paid leave.
On his way to a Labor Day event in Boston, President Obama signed an executive order mandating that all companies with federal contracts offer the benefit to their employees.
As we were flying over here, I signed a new executive order requiring federal contractors to allow employees who work on our contracts to earn up to 7 paid sick days a year.
Beginning in 2017, the White House says 300,000 American workers who currently don't receive any paid sick leave will receive 1 hour of sick time for every 30 hours worked. The executive order is limited, however, as it only applies to firms with government contracts. It's estimated that 44 million American workers do not have access to paid sick leave. President Obama is pushing Congress to extend the new rules to the private sector, but is being met with strong resistance from the GOP, who believe these policies place an undue burden on businesses. But Labor Secretary Thomas Perez argues that these new policies are bringing American working standards in line with those of other developed countries.
The United States is the only country where the issue of a federal paid leave law has become a partisan issue.
This latest announcement comes on the heels of several similar orders Obama has signed to raise standards for employees of federal contractors, including banning discrimination based on sexual orientation, expanding overtime compensation, and increasing the minimum wage. I'm Andy Rose reporting.
The Minnesota dentist who drew outrage after killing a protected lion in Zimbabwe says he will go back to work tomorrow. Walter Palmer says if he had known that the lion was important to the country or even in a study, he would not have killed it. Palmer says he thinks he acted legally. Cecil the lion had been fitted with a GPS collar as part of an Oxford University study. The Breeders' Cup has the bluegrass bursting with excitement, but not all of the thrills will be at Keeneland. Special celebrations will be taking place all over Lexington. Our Deanne Stevens is out and about at an equine medical institute as part of the Breeders' Cup Festival Farm Tours. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys. We have moved inside here at Haggard Equine Medical, where they do so many amazing things. Walking through here is just magnificent to see. It is like, Kenny's being funny, our photographer, a hospital, but it is a hospital for horses, and it truly is something to see. Nicole Tomlinson is with us. Nicole, tell us what you guys do here at Haggard.
Well, we have been around for 140 years, and so there's a wide range of things we do. We are just like a human hospital for horses. We've got an intensive care unit, isolation, surgery, and our hyperbaric oxygen chamber. It's a little bit of everything.
What is this hyperbaric oxygen chamber?
The hyperbaric oxygen chamber, what we do with that is it is increased oxygenation to the red blood cells is going to help speed up healing time. So it just helps the horses heal faster.
So the horse goes in here?
Yeah, the horse goes in the chamber, and they go in there for about an hour and 20 minutes, and they receive their treatment, and they come back out and go to their stall.
So many different things that you do. I saw a horse hooked up to these monitors and things like that. When folks come for this tour of Haggard, they're going to see things like this. And you guys will explain then exactly what you do on the tour.
Yeah, we'll explain the history of the clinic. We'll explain all the different things that we can do for the horses, all the different aftercare and technology that we can use to help the horses and get them back to health.
Take amazing care of these horses here at Haggard. All right, so how do you get to see this place? Because it's not every day that you can come. Well, you can sign up to be a part of the Breeders' Cup Festival Farm Tours. This young lady, Ann Harding, going to tell folks how to do that.
Absolutely. BreedersCupFestival.com, events, and then horse farm tours. We say farm tours, but really it takes so much to keep these equine athletes ready to run and ready to be in a race like the Breeders' Cup. So come and see Haggard as well.
And this is where the winners and the champions are. I mean, they make visits here. I'm not supposed to tell. It is. It's like I said, are there HIPAA rules for the horses? Because we all got to be quiet. We got to make sure. This is a really neat place to see. So I highly encourage you, get your tickets now for the Breeders' Cup Festival Farm Tours. You can do that, as Ann mentioned, by going to breederscupfestivals.com. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Haggard Equine Medical. Back to you guys.
Deanne, thank you. It is a big week for late night TV here on CBS. Suzanne Marquez has your eye on entertainment.
It's showtime for Stephen Colbert. He'll debut tomorrow night as host of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS, taking over for David Letterman.
Colbert's first guest here at the Ed Sullivan Theater will be George Clooney and Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush.
The Pretenders lead singer Chrissie Hynde used to be with a very different type of band, a band of bikers. She talked about getting attacked while hanging out with the group in an interview that aired yesterday on CBS Sunday Morning.
Well, you know, if you hung out with those guys, that's what happened. That's the way it was.
Hynde has a new memoir called Reckless: My Life as a Pretender. The popular 80s band Duran Duran is still rocking decades later.
We never set out with a plan of being around for this long. If you'd have asked us when we started, what will you be doing in 30 years' time, I think none of us would have even thought about it, to be honest with you.
The band's new album, Paper Gods, drops on Friday. That's your Eye on Entertainment. I'm Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, New York.
Looks like Katy Perry is struggling to fit in at Burning Man. Take a look. You can see Perry trying to ride a Segway at the Desert Festival. The pop star shared her adventures on Instagram with a caption, "Obvious first-time burner alert." Actress Susan Sarandon also attended the week-long event, and according to USA Today, she paid tribute to a late friend and LSD advocate, Timothy Leary, by spreading his ashes at an art installation. Well, the Cincinnati Zoo is going bananas over gorillas with a $12 million exhibit expansion that's planned. The zoo's director released a video saying that the new indoor facility would essentially double the size of the current outdoor exhibit. The current enclosure was opened in 1978 and was the first barless habitat of its kind in the country. The indoor exhibit will resemble a greenhouse and would allow gorillas to be seen by the public year-round. It would also provide better tools for the zoo to care for the animals and offer more ways for the public to learn about gorillas. The new facility could be open as soon as the summer of 2017. A lot of people taking those last-minute trips, Chris Bailey, trying to get them in before summer ends, but it has certainly been hot wherever you went, and even if you stayed home, it was hot.
Absolutely. You know, summer just now showing up on the scene here in Kentucky. We had a cooler than normal actual summer. June, July, August, all it did was rain up until the middle of August. Now we can't buy a drop of rain. Look at our live sky cam, capital city of Frankfort, upper 80s, a lot of areas, upper 80s to around 90 degrees right now. Sky cam in Lexington looking a little on the dark side with some of those spotty showers and storms that are trying their very, very best to develop as of right now. They're very small on Defender. Greatest concentration has been across parts of southern Kentucky. Even here, we've been dealing with just a little popcorn variety type stuff. London had some raindrops on us a little earlier. Now we're drying things out. Those showers into parts of Mount Vernon and Rockcastle County beginning to go by the wayside as well. We put everything into motion, and you can really see that this isn't a big concentration of rain at all. Amber, though, we're going to change that up in the coming days with a strong cold front that says goodbye summer. It's going to throw some more rain our way as well. Coming up here in just a few minutes, I've got a brand new hour-by-hour forecast to time the rains back into the Bluegrass State.
As long as it says hello cooler, I'll take it, Chris. Thank you. A classic car fest, how you could drink bourbon in space, and uninvited guest at the U.S. Open. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this. Rain hasn't stopped people from attending the Auburn Fall Auction, one of the longest-running classic car auctions in the world. Car enthusiasts have a chance to get their hands on a huge selection of rare automobiles in Auburn, Indiana. The most expensive is a 1929 Duesenberg. It went for a whopping $1.2 million yesterday afternoon. Another one-of-a-kind car on the auction block, a 2004 Monte Carlo that once belonged to NASCAR star Jeff Gordon. Some bidders have walked away with their dream car. Others, though, haven't been so lucky.
You know, I was in second place a couple times, and I won the bid a couple times, but they didn't lift the reserve. So, unfortunately, I guess I'm a loser.
Well, not everyone will win the car they hope for, but the auction has hundreds of cars to choose from. That event continues today with helicopter rides, celebrity appearances, and fun for the entire family. If we live long enough to get to space, we may be drinking Kentucky bourbon in this glass. Scotch maker Ballantine financed the development of a glass that makes it possible to sip whiskey in zero gravity. In space, it's impossible to pour liquids because any runaway droplets could affect electronics. While it's being developed to complement a space scotch they plan to release in the future, the glass can be used for any liquid. The glass isn't ready for sale just yet, but more are being made. Someday, if you ever get the chance to bring some bourbon aboard the space station, remember to get yourself one of these glasses. And it was quite a busy few days for the U.S. Open. Not once, but twice, the tennis tournament was interrupted by some uninvited guests. Thursday, play had to be suspended after a drone crashed into the stands. New York police arrested a teacher for the incident, but no one was hurt. And then on Sunday, a squirrel interrupted a doubles match. He scurried around the court for a few minutes before making his way back to the stands. I guess you never know what's going to happen.